I stood at the back of the crystal ballroom, watching my husband's world crumble in real time, and I felt nothing but the weight of the envelope in my hands. 25 years of lies, condensed into 43 pages of evidence. My fingers didn't shake anymore. They'd stopped shaking 3 months ago, the day I hired Marcus Chen. Williams stood at the podium in his charcoal Tom Ford suit, the one I'd picked out for our anniversary 2 years ago. He was mid-toast, champagne glass raised, smile brilliant under the chandeliers. "To Thomson Reed Industries," he said, his voice carrying across 200 guests. "Built from nothing but vision and determination. From nothing." I almost laughed. Vanessa Reed stood beside him in champagne silk, her hand resting on his arm like she owned him. Maybe she thought she did. The board members, the investors, the clients, they all watched my husband and his business partner like they were watching royalty. The power couple of Atlanta's tech scene. Nobody had noticed me slip in through the service entrance. Nobody recognized the CEO's actual wife in a red Valentino dress and newly blonde hair. My daughter Maya appeared at my elbow, 17 years old and fierce in black. "Mom," she whispered. "You sure about this?" I touched her cheek. This brave girl who'd called me every day during my surgery recovery while her father was in Miami with her. I've never been more sure of anything. Daniel Reed emerged from the shadows on my other side, his expression grim. Vanessa's ex-husband, my unexpected ally. He held a manila folder thick with financial records. "The lawyer's in position," he murmured. "Say the word." I watched Williams laugh at something Vanessa whispered. Watched him touch the small of her back. The same man who'd texted "stuck in meetings, can't make it to the hospital," while I was in post-op, shaking and terrified and alone except for Maya skipping class to hold my hand. The same man who'd forged my signature to remove me from our company documents. The same man who thought I was too broken, too trusting, too stupid to fight back. "Now," I said. Maya squeezed my hand once, then walked toward the podium. Daniel moved to the exit, blocking it. And I began walking down the center aisle, my heels clicking on marble, the sound cutting through champagne laughter like a knife. Williams saw me first. His face went white. Then Vanessa turned, and I watched recognition slam into her like a freight train. Smiled. Voice sweet as arsenic, loud enough to carry. "Darling, don't stop on my account. I'd love to hear more about how you built this company from nothing. But let me tell you how I got here. Let me tell you about the day I decided to visit my husband at his office, and how that one decision changed everything. It was August 14th, 3 months before the gala. The sky was that thick Atlanta gray that promises storms but never delivers. I'd been home for 6 weeks since my hysterectomy, still moving carefully, still feeling like my body belonged to someone else. Williams had left for the office at 6 that morning. "Big investor meeting," he'd said, kissing my forehead like I was a child. "Don't wait up." He made chicken soup, his favorite. Thought I'd surprise him, bring lunch to the office, maybe remind him I was still alive. Still his wife. Still here. The Thomson Reed building rose 30 stories in Buckhead. All glass and steel and money. I'd helped choose the architect back when Williams and Gregory Reed first started the company. Back when I was still a partner in everything that mattered. The lobby smelled like expensive coffee and ambition. I smoothed down my blue sundress, loose enough to hide the healing incisions, and approached the security desk with a soup container warm in my hands. The guard was new. Young, maybe 25, with kind eyes. "Can I help you, ma'am?" "I'm here to see Williams Thompson." "I'm his." "Ma'am." He smiled apologetically. "Mr. Thompson's in meetings all day. No visitors without appointments." "I understand, but I'm his wife. Shirley Williams. I just want to drop off." He laughed. Actually laughed like I'd told a joke. "Ma'am, I see Mr. Thompson's wife here every day." His radio crackled. He glanced past me toward the elevators. "Oh, there she is now, coming down with Mr. Thompson." My hands went numb. The soup container slipped, but I caught it. Barely. Turned. Williams stepped out of the elevator with Vanessa Reed. Her hand was on his arm. They were laughing about something, heads close together. She wore a black power suit that probably cost more than my car. Her dark hair was swept up in a chignon that screamed executive. They looked like a photograph from Forbes. The power couple. He hadn't looked at me like that, like she hung the moon in years. "That's Mrs. Thompson," the guard said helpfully, completely unaware he was detonating my entire life. "She's here most days. Real nice lady." The soup container felt heavy. My surgical incisions burned. And something inside me, something that had been bending and bending for years, finally snapped clean. I watched my husband kiss Vanessa's cheek before she walked toward the parking garage. Watched him check his phone, probably reading my text from this morning. "Miss you. Love you. Come home early." He hadn't responded. He never saw me standing there. But I saw everything. I turned back to the guard and smiled. The kind of smile that doesn't reach your eyes. "My mistake," I said softly. "Wrong building." I walked back to my car in the visitor lot. Set the soup on the passenger seat. Drove home in perfect silence. That night, Williams came home at midnight smelling like Vanessa's perfume. He kissed my forehead. "Sorry, baby. Investor dinner ran late." "It's okay," I whispered into the dark. "How was your day?" "Exhausting. But good. We might have secured the Singapore deal." Him and Vanessa. Not me. Never me. I waited until his breathing evened out into sleep. Then I went to his home office and opened his laptop. The password was still our anniversary. He hadn't even bothered to change it. 3 hours later, I'd found the first hotel receipt. Miami. The week of my surgery. The room stopped spinning. My hands stopped shaking. And I started planning. If you're watching this from anywhere in the world, like and subscribe. Drop a comment where you're watching from. The morning after finding that receipt, someone knocked on my door. Someone I wasn't expecting. Someone who would change everything. The knock came at 7 in the morning, sharp and insistent. I was still in my robe, coffee burning in the pot, eyes raw from a sleepless night staring at hotel receipts spread across the kitchen table. Williams had already left for his early meeting. Of course he had. I opened the door to find a man I'd never seen before. Mid-40s, expensive suit, tired eyes that had seen too much. He held a leather portfolio like a shield. "Mrs. Thompson." "Shirley Thompson." My stomach dropped. "Who's asking?" "Daniel Reed. Vanessa's husband." He paused, corrected himself. "Ex-husband, as of 3 weeks ago." The name hit me like cold water. Gregory Reed's son. The Reed in Thompson Reed Industries. I'd met him maybe twice at company functions, back when Williams still brought me to those things. "I think we need to talk," Daniel said quietly. "I know what they're doing." I should have closed the door. Should have protected myself, protected whatever was left of my dignity. Instead, I stepped aside and let him in. We sat at my kitchen table, the farmhouse table Williams and I had picked out together 15 years ago, and Daniel opened his portfolio. Inside were photographs, dozens of them. Williams and Vanessa at restaurants I'd never been to. Getting into cars together. Entering hotels. Leaving hotels. Kissing in parking garages. "How long?" My voice came out strange. "Hello. 3 years. Maybe longer." Daniel's jaw tightened. Vanessa told me she was working late. Business trips. Investor dinners. I believed her until I found the credit card statements she thought she'd hidden. 3 years. I counted backward. 3 years ago, Williams had convinced me to step back from the company. "Focus on your health, Shirley. Let me handle the business stress. You've earned a break." I'd thought he was being thoughtful. "There's more." Daniel pulled out documents. Legal papers. Financial statements with my signature. Except I'd never seen them before. "They've been moving money. Restructuring ownership. Your name's been removed from half the company documents." The room tilted. "That's not possible. I'm a founding partner." "Not anymore. Not on paper." He pointed to a signature that looked like mine but wasn't. Forgery. Probably been doing it for months while you were. He stopped, noticed the way I was holding my side. Are you okay? Hysterectomy. 6 weeks ago. The words tasted like ash. He was supposed to be with me. But he was in Miami with her instead. Daniel's face went hard. The week of August 1st. He nodded. He pulled out another receipt. Hotel charges, room service, spa treatments, all dated August 1st through 5th. All charged to Thompson Reed corporate card. My daughter was 17, I whispered. She drove herself to the hospital to be with me because her father was too busy screwing his business partner. The coffee burned. Smoke alarm started screaming. Neither of us moved. They're planning something, Daniel said over the noise. I found emails. They're positioning to force you out completely, take full control of the company, then merge with a Singapore firm. Williams gets CEO. Vanessa gets a. You get nothing. Why are you telling me this? Because they destroyed my marriage. Took my wife. Turned my father against me. He thinks I'm the problem, that I couldn't handle Vanessa's success. His voice cracked. And because you deserve to know before they finish erasing you. I stood up, turned off the stove, silenced the alarm. My hands were steady. That surprised me. What do you want, Daniel? I want them to pay. I want everyone to know what they did. He met my eyes. I want justice. And I think you do too. I thought about Maya's voice on the phone after my surgery, trying so hard to sound brave. Mom, Dad says he'll be home tomorrow. It's okay. I'm here. I thought about Williams kissing my forehead last night, lying so easily. I thought about Vanessa wearing my husband like an accessory while I recovered from having my insides carved out. I don't want justice, I said quietly. I want revenge. Daniel almost smiled. Then we're going to need help. Professional help. I know someone. I didn't, but I'd find someone. A private investigator. Good. Because if we're doing this, we're doing it right. We document everything. We build a case so airtight they can't breathe. And then we burn their world down. I poured 2 fresh cups of coffee. Pushed one across the table to Daniel Reed, my unexpected ally in the ruins of our marriages. When do we start? Now, he said. Before they realize we know. I found Marcus Chen through a lawyer friend who owed me a favor. Discreet, thorough, and expensive, she'd said. He's worked corporate fraud cases. If there's dirt, he'll find it. Marcus arrived at a coffee shop in Decatur 2 days later, looking nothing like a private investigator. Khakis, polo shirt, the kind of face you'd forget in a crowd. Perfect. Mrs. Thompson. Mr. Reed. He shook our hands, slid into the booth. Tell me what you need. I laid out everything. The affair. The forged documents. Timeline. Daniel added his evidence. The credit card statements. The emails he'd managed to save before Vanessa's lawyer seized his devices. Marcus listened without interrupting, taking notes in a leather journal. When we finished, he looked up. What's your goal here? Divorce. Criminal charges. Public exposure. All of it, I said. I want everything. That'll take time. Weeks, maybe months. Can you keep pretending you don't know? I thought about Williams kissing my forehead every night. Lying every night. I've been pretending for 6 weeks already. What's a few more? Marcus nodded. I'll need access to your home. Places I can install monitoring equipment. Phone records, computer access, credit cards. Anything that can build a timeline. Whatever you need. And you. He turned to Daniel. You've been too obvious. Vanessa knows you suspect something. You need to back off completely. Play defeated. Let her think she won. Daniel's jaw clenched. I want to help. You help by staying away until we need you. Understood. The next 3 weeks were the longest of my life. I smiled at Williams over breakfast. Asked about his day. Laughed at his jokes. Made love to him when he initiated, pretending I didn't smell Vanessa's perfume on his collar. Marcus worked in shadows. He installed cameras in Williams's home office. cloned his laptop, tracked his car with GPS, pulled phone records going back 3 years. Maya came home from college for Labor Day weekend. She knew something was wrong the moment she saw me. "Mom, you look exhausted." We were alone in the kitchen, making her favorite banana bread. Williams was at another investor meeting. "Baby, I need to tell you something." Kept my voice steady. "About your father." Her face went carefully blank. "I already know." My hands stopped moving. "What?" "I saw them. Last year when I came home early for Thanksgiving. He didn't know I was here." She was leaving through the side door. Maya's voice shook. "I wanted to tell you, but you were so happy, and I thought maybe I was wrong, maybe it was just business, maybe." "Oh, sweetheart." I pulled her close, this girl who'd been carrying this weight alone. "It's not your fault. None of this is your fault. Are you leaving him?" "I'm destroying him," I said simply. "And I need to know if you're okay with that." She pulled back, met my eyes. At 17, she looked so much older than she should. "What do you need me to do?" That's when I knew Maya wasn't just my daughter. She was my ally, my witness, my proof that everything I was about to do was justified. September 15th, Marcus called. "I've got something. You need to see this." We met at his office in Virginia Highland. He had a laptop open, files stacked 3 inches high. "They've been planning this for 18 months, Marcus said. "Started right after your breast cancer scare." Williams began moving assets, restructuring ownership documents, building a case that you were mentally unfit to run the company due to health issues. My hands clenched. "I never had breast cancer. It was a false positive." "I know. But that's what he's been telling the board. That your health is failing. That you're stepping back voluntarily. He's got forged letters of resignation. Medical records he fabricated. That's illegal. That's fraud. And it gets worse." Marcus turned the laptop. Email chains filled the screen. Williams to Vanessa. "Once the Singapore merger closes, we'll have enough to buy out her remaining shares for pennies. She'll be too sick to fight it." Vanessa's response. "Are you sure she doesn't suspect?" Williams. "Surely. She still thinks I'm working late. She's always been too trusting." I read the date. September 3rd. 2 days ago. While I was making him pot roast, he was planning to steal everything I'd built. There's more. Marcus opened another file. Photographs. Williams and Vanessa in Singapore. At business dinners with investors. But these weren't business meetings. They were couples photos. Holding hands. Kissing at Marina Bay. Vanessa wearing a ring on her left hand. When was this? Last month. While you were recovering from surgery. The final piece clicked into place. The unforgivable detail. The thing I could never, ever forgive. I'd almost died on that operating table. Complications from anesthesia. Maya had called Williams 23 times. He'd finally answered from Singapore, annoyed. "Tell her I'll call when I land. I'm in the middle of something important." He'd been buying his mistress an engagement ring while his wife coded on an operating table. Closed the laptop. Stood up. Smoothed down my dress. "How long until you have everything we need?" "I already do. Financial fraud. Forgery. Corporate espionage. It's enough to bury him." "Good." My voice was ice. "Because I want them to lose everything. The company. Their reputations. Each other. Everything." Marcus almost smiled. "What's the plan?" "The company's 25th anniversary gala is in 6 weeks. Black tie. Every investor, board member, and client in Atlanta will be there. Public exposure. Public execution." I met his eyes. "Can you be ready?" "Mrs. Thompson, I've been ready for 3 weeks. I was just waiting for you to be ready." I walked out of Marcus Chen's office into September sunshine, and for the first time in months, I felt something other than pain. Felt power. Living with Williams after learning the truth was like sharing a house with a ghost. Except the ghost smiled at me over breakfast, asked about my day, and kissed me goodnight with lips that had been on Vanessa Reed hours before. October arrived with cooler weather and Marcus's surveillance reports landing in my email every 48 hours. Encrypted files with subject lines like property records and meeting notes that detailed every lie my husband told. October 3rd. Williams said he was meeting with venture capitalists in Austin. GPS showed him at the Four Seasons in Miami. Room 2847. Same room as Vanessa. They ordered champagne and strawberries at midnight. October 10th. Working late, don't wait up. He was at Vanessa's Buckhead condo until 2 a.m. Security footage showed them entering at 7 p.m. with Thai takeout. October 15th. Golf with clients. 9 holes at Cherokee Country Club with Richard Morrison, the board chairman. Audio surveillance caught Williams saying, "Shirley's health is declining. Early onset dementia, possibly. I'm handling everything now to spare her the stress." I listened to that recording 3 times in my car, hands gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. Then I drove home and made Williams his favorite dinner. Lasagna with garlic bread. "You're amazing, you know that," he said, kissing my cheek. "I don't deserve you." "No," I agreed softly. "You don't." He didn't hear the edge in my voice. He never did. Marcus had installed cameras in Williams's home office, hidden in the smoke detector and desk lamp. I watched hours of footage on my laptop while Williams slept beside me, oblivious. I watched him practice speeches for the anniversary gala. Watched him video call Vanessa, laughing about something I couldn't hear. Watched him forge my signature on documents transferring my remaining company shares to a holding company he controlled. Each video file went into a folder labeled Evidence. Each crime documented. Each lie cataloged. Daniel texted me weekly updates. He'd followed Marcus's advice, played defeated. Let Vanessa think she'd won. His reward was watching his father Gregory side with her completely, cutting Daniel out of family dinners and company decisions. "They're getting sloppy," Daniel texted October 20th. "Vanessa thinks I'm broken. She's not even hiding it anymore." "Good," I replied. "Let them get comfortable." Maya came home that weekend. She'd been tracking everything from college, my fierce daughter who decided her fall break should be spent helping her mother plan revenge instead of partying with friends. "Show me what you've got," she said, dropping her backpack in the foyer. We spread Marcus's files across my bedroom floor. Financial records showing Williams had siphoned $2.3 million from company accounts over 3 years. Forged medical documents claiming I had dementia. Email chains planning my complete removal from the company I'd helped build from nothing. "This is enough to put him in prison," Maya said, scanning a particularly damning email. "Prison's too easy." I pulled up the guest list for the anniversary gala. I want him humiliated first. I want everyone who ever respected him to know exactly what he is. "Mom." Maya looked at me with something like awe. "You're terrifying." "Good." Smiled. "I learned from watching him destroy me. Now I'll show him how it's really done." October 28th, Marcus called. "We have a problem. Williams is accelerating the timeline. He's planning to announce your retirement at the gala. Says you're stepping down due to health issues. He's already drafted a press release. My retirement. From the company I'd co-founded with my own money, my own vision, my own blood and sweat. Can you prove he's lying about my health? I've got your medical records. Clean bill of health from 3 different doctors. But surely, if he announces this publicly, he won't get the chance." I pulled up my calendar. The gala is October 31st. 3 days. Is everything ready? The presentation is built. Timeline, photos, financial records, forged documents. 43 pages of evidence that will destroy him. I've got copies for the board, the investors, and the press contacts you requested. And the lawyer. Standing by. The moment you give the signal, she'll serve him with papers. Fraud charges, forgery, embezzlement. civil and criminal. I thought about Williams sleeping peacefully down the hall, confident in his lies. Confident I was too weak, too trusting, too stupid to see what he was doing. 3 days, I said. And then we end this. That night, Williams came home late smelling like Vanessa's perfume. I was in bed reading, wearing the silk nightgown he'd bought me for our anniversary. "Hey, beautiful." He kissed my forehead. "Sorry I'm late. Last-minute gala prep." "It's okay." I marked my page. "Are you excited? 25 years. That's incredible." "It really is." He sat on the bed, taking off his watch, the Rolex I'd given him when we signed our first major contract. "I've been thinking. After the gala, maybe we should take a trip. Just us. Reconnect." "That sounds wonderful." I touched his face. This man I'd loved for 25 years. This stranger wearing my husband's skin. "Where should we go?" "Anywhere you want, Shirley. Anywhere at all." I almost laughed. Instead, I kissed him softly. "Surprise me." He smiled, believing every word. "I love you, you know." "I know," I whispered. He fell asleep holding my hand. I stayed awake, watching the ceiling, counting down the hours until I took everything from him the way he'd taken everything from me. 3 days until the gala. 3 days until Williams Thompson learned what happens when you underestimate your wife. The morning of October 31st arrived cold and bright. Halloween. How fitting. Williams left early for final gala preparations, kissing me goodbye like everything was normal. Like tonight wasn't the night he planned to announce my forced retirement to 200 witnesses. "I'll see you tonight, beautiful. 7 o'clock. Wear something stunning." "I will," I promised. The moment his car pulled out, Maya came downstairs in leggings and a sweatshirt, phone already pressed to her ear. "Daniel, she's ready." "Are you?" I couldn't hear his response, but Maya nodded. "Crystal Ballroom, 6:45. Don't be late." She hung up and looked at me. "Mom, are you sure?" I thought about the hotel receipts from the week of my surgery, the forged signatures, the emails calling me weak and trusting, Williams buying Vanessa a ring while I almost died. I've never been more sure of anything. Marcus arrived at noon with the final evidence packet. 43 pages bound in a red folder. Presentation loaded on a USB drive. Video montage backed up in 3 separate cloud accounts. "Walk me through it one more time," I said. We sat at my kitchen table, the last time I'd sit here as Williams Thompson's wife, and Marcus laid it out like a military operation. You arrive at 6:45. Daniel's already inside, seated near the back with the lawyer. Maya enters at 6:50, sits with Daniel. I'm positioned by the AV booth. When William starts his speech, you walk in. I've got the security guard bribed to let you through. What if Williams tries to stop me? He won't. Too many witnesses. His whole performance depends on maintaining the perfect image. Marcus opened the folder. When you reach the podium, Maya will hand you this. You take the microphone. I'll switch the presentation to the screen. You control the timing of each slide. I flipped through the pages. Every lie documented. Every crime proven. Every moment of betrayal preserved in high-definition color. The board members will be watching, I said. So will the investors, the clients, and the 3 journalists I tipped off about a major story breaking tonight. Marcus smiled coldly. By midnight, Williams Thompson will be trending on Twitter for all the wrong reasons. At 3 o'clock I started getting ready. Maya helped me into the red Valentino dress I'd bought specifically for this moment. Red for power. Red for blood. Red for the end of one life and the beginning of another. You look like a queen, Maya whispered, fastening the clasp on my diamond necklace, the one Williams had given me for our 20th anniversary, before Vanessa, before the lies. Queens don't get revenge, I said, meeting her eyes in the mirror. Survivors do. My phone buzzed. Daniel. In position. Lawyers with me. We're ready. Another text from Marcus. All systems go. The moment you walk in that door, there's no going back. I looked at myself in the mirror. 52 years old. Hysterectomy scars hidden under red silk. Hair newly blonde and styled in waves. Diamond earrings catching the light. I looked like the woman I used to be. The woman who'd helped build a company from nothing. The woman Williams had tried to erase. "Let's go," I said. We drove separately. Maya took her car so she could arrive early. I drove my Mercedes, the one Williams had insisted I didn't need. That was too much car for someone my age. And parked 3 blocks away from the Crystal Ballroom. 6:35. I sat in my car, watching couples in evening wear walk toward the venue. I recognized most of them. Business associates. Friends who'd stopped calling after Williams told them about my declining health. People who'd believed every lie. They'd know the truth soon enough. My phone rang. "Williams. Hey, sweetheart. Where are you? Gala starts in 20 minutes. I let my voice tremble slightly. Uncertain. The way he expected. "I'm not feeling well. Maybe I should stay home." "Surely no. People are asking about you. They want to see you." Concern dripped from his voice like honey. Fake concern. Practice. "I'll make sure you don't have to stay long. Just show up for an hour, okay?" "Okay," I whispered. "I'll try. That's my girl. I love you." "I know you do," I said and hung up. 6:43. I checked my makeup one last time. Reapplied my lipstick. MAC Ruby Woo, bold and unapologetic. 6:44. Text from Maya. "I'm inside. Daniel and the lawyer are 3 rows back. Marcus is at the AV booth. Dad just started greeting guests." 6:45. I stepped out of my car into cold October air. Leaves crunched under my heels. The Crystal Ballroom glowed with warm light and expensive dreams. I walked toward it like I was walking toward my own execution. Except I wasn't the one dying tonight. The security guard at the service entrance looked at me nervously. "Mrs. Thompson," Mr. Chen said. "I know." I pressed $200 bills into his palm. Nobody saw me. Understood. "Yes, ma'am." Inside, I could hear Williams's voice over the sound system, amplified and confident. "Welcome, everyone, to Thomson Reed Industries' 25th anniversary celebration." Applause. Laughter. The sound of people who had no idea what was about to happen. I stood in the shadows near the back of the ballroom, watching my husband command the room. He was good at this. Always had been. The charisma, the charm, the ability to make people believe anything he said. Vanessa stood beside him in champagne silk, playing her role perfectly. The supportive business partner. The brilliant Sue. The woman who definitely wasn't sleeping with the CEO. Williams raised his glass. 25 years ago, Gregory Reed and I had a vision. Build something that would last. Something that would matter. I almost laughed. Gregory had died 3 years ago. Couldn't defend himself. Couldn't tell everyone that I'd been the third partner, the one who'd secured the initial funding, the one who'd worked 80-hour weeks while Williams played golf. "And tonight," Williams continued, his voice taking on a somber tone, "I have an announcement. My wife Shirley, who many of you know has been battling health issues, has decided to step down from her role in the company. She'll be retiring, effective immediately, to focus on her recovery." The room went silent, sympathetic. I felt Maya's eyes find me in the darkness. Felt Daniel tense 3 rows back. Felt Marcus's hand hover over the AV switch. Williams kept talking. "Shirley's been so brave through everything. I'm proud of her for knowing when to." "Darling," I said, stepping into the light, my voice carrying across marble and crystal and lies. "Don't stop on my account." 200 faces turned toward me. Williams's went white as death. And I smiled like the wolf I'd become. I'd love to hear more about my retirement. Especially since this is the first I'm hearing about it. The silence in the Crystal Ballroom was absolute. 200 people holding champagne glasses, frozen mid-sip, watching a ghost materialize in red Valentino. Williams recovered first. He always did. "Shirley." Darling, you made it. He descended from the podium, arms outstretched, smile plastered on. You look beautiful. I wasn't sure you'd feel well enough to. I feel fine, Williams. I stayed exactly where I was, making him come to me. Perfectly healthy, actually. Which makes your announcement about my retirement very interesting. His eyes flickered. Calculating. The room was watching. He had to play the concerned husband. We talked about this, remember? You said you wanted to rest, focus on recovery. From what? I tilted my head. What exactly am I recovering from? Vanessa appeared at his elbow, her smile sharp. Mrs. Thompson, perhaps we should discuss this privately. Oh, I don't think so, Vanessa. I looked at her directly for the first time. I prefer public forums. Don't you? After all, you've been so publicly supportive as Williams's business partner. Her smile faltered. Maya materialized beside me, elegant in black. My daughter, my witness, my proof that I wasn't alone. She handed me a red folder without a word. Williams noticed. His eyes darted between Maya and me, finally understanding something was wrong. Very wrong. Shirley, what's going on? I'm so glad you asked. I walked toward the podium, heels clicking on marble. The crowd parted like water. Because I have a few announcements of my own. Marcus. The lights dimmed. The projection screen behind the podium flickered to life. Williams lunged forward. Shirley, stop. Sit down, Williams. Daniel Reed stood up from his seat 3 rows back, his voice carrying authority. Let your wife speak. The room erupted in whispers. Daniel Reed, Vanessa's ex-husband, at the company gala. This was already a scandal. I reached the podium and took the microphone. My hands were steady. Thank you all for coming tonight. I know Williams promised you a celebration, and you'll get one. Just not the kind he planned. First slide appeared on the screen. A photo of Williams and Vanessa at a Miami restaurant, holding hands across the table. Date stamp. August 2nd. That's the week of my hysterectomy, I said conversationally, as if discussing the weather. I was in recovery. Williams told me he was at an investor meeting in Austin. But as you can see, he was in Miami. With Vanessa Reed. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Vanessa's face drained of color. Williams stood frozen, his performance finally crumbling. But wait, I continued, advancing the slide. There's more. Hotel receipts. Dozens of them. 3 years of lies documented in credit card statements and timestamps. Next slide. Text messages between Williams and Vanessa discussing getting rid of the deadweight. Me. They've been having an affair for 3 years, I said. But that's almost forgivable, isn't it? People make mistakes. People fall in love. My voice hardened. What's less forgivable is fraud. Next slide. Forged signatures. My name on documents I'd never signed, transferring my company shares to Williams's holding company. My husband has been systematically stealing the company I helped build, forging my signature, removing me from ownership documents. And tonight, he planned to announce my forced retirement based on medical conditions I don't have. I pulled papers from the red folder. These are medical records from 3 different doctors, all dated within the last month. Clean bill of health. No dementia. No declining mental capacity. No reason whatsoever for me to step down. I looked directly at Richard Morrison, the board chairman. Williams lied to you, Richard. He lied to the entire board. Morrison stood up, his face purple with rage. Is this true, Thompson? Williams opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. I can explain. Please do, I said sweetly. Explain why you told the board I was mentally incompetent. Explain why you forged my signature on legal documents. Explain why you stole $2.3 million from company accounts over 3 years to fund your affair. The number landed like a bomb. Board members were on their feet now, shouting questions. Investors looked murderous. Vanessa backed away from Williams like he was radioactive. And Vanessa, I turned to her, explain to everyone why you've been wearing an engagement ring from my husband. The one he bought in Singapore while I was coding on an operating table because he wouldn't answer his daughter's phone calls. Maya stepped forward, her voice clear and cold. 23 calls. I was 17 and terrified my mother was dying, and my father was buying his mistress jewelry. The room exploded. Voices overlapping. Cameras flashing. The journalists Marcus had tipped off were earning their paychecks. A woman in a navy suit stood up near the front. Late 50s, elegant, carrying herself like someone used to courtrooms. She walked straight to Williams and handed him a manila envelope. Williams Thompson, you're being served. Fraud, embezzlement, forgery. Criminal and civil charges. You have 24 hours to surrender yourself to authorities. Williams stared at the envelope like it might bite him. The lawyer turned to the room. Anyone with evidence of financial irregularities with Thompson Reed Industries should contact the Georgia State Attorney's Office. A full investigation is underway. Daniel stepped onto the stage beside me. I'm Daniel Reed, former board member and Gregory Reed's son. I'm filing suit to recover assets stolen from my father's estate and to remove both Williams Thompson and Vanessa Reed from company leadership, effective immediately. You can't. Vanessa finally found her voice. You have no authority. The board does. Richard Morrison climbed onto the stage. His expression granite. Emergency vote. All in favor of immediate termination of Williams Thompson and Vanessa Reed. Raise your hands. Every board member's hand shot up. Motion carries. Morrison looked at Williams with pure disgust. You're fired. Security will escort you out. Don't bother cleaning out your office. We'll have everything searched for evidence. Security guards appeared as if summoned. They flanked Williams and Vanessa, who stood in her champagne silk dress looking like her world was ending. 'Cause it was. Williams finally looked at me. Really looked at me. Shirley, please. We can fix this. Love you. I made mistakes, but you made choices, I corrected. And now you get to live with them. They escorted him out through the main doors. Vanessa followed, head down, while guests pulled out phones to capture every moment. The ballroom buzzed with shocked conversation. I stood at the podium, still holding the microphone, feeling strangely empty. Maya wrapped her arms around me. You did it, Mom. We did it, I corrected, holding my daughter close. Daniel joined us. His expression somewhere between satisfaction and sorrow. Thank you for letting me be part of this. Thank you for believing me when I needed an ally. Morrison approached. His anger tempered with something like respect. Mrs. Thompson, the board will need to meet. Discuss restructuring, new leadership. You're still a founding partner. Your shares, your position. We'll restore everything. We'll talk, I said. After I've rested. It's been a long 3 months. He nodded and walked away, already on his phone. The guests were leaving now, still whispering, still recording. Tomorrow this would be everywhere. Williams Thompson, the golden boy of Atlanta Tech, exposed as a fraud and a cheat. I should have felt triumphant. Instead I felt tired. Come on, Maya said gently. Let's go home. But I couldn't. Not yet. There was one more thing I needed to do. I didn't go home that night. Instead I drove to the Thompson Reed building in Buckhead, Maya in the passenger seat, Daniel following in his car. The same building where 3 months ago a security guard had laughed at me for claiming to be the CEO's wife. Marcus met us in the parking garage at midnight, carrying boxes and a laptop. The board granted you emergency access. You've got 4 hours before the lawyers seal everything. The building was dark except for security lights. Our footsteps echoed in the marble lobby. The same guard from August was at the desk, the young one with kind eyes who destroyed my world with his innocent laughter. He recognized me immediately. His face went pale. Mrs. Thompson, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. She told me she was. It's okay, I said, meaning it. You didn't know. But I need to access the executive floor. He scrambled for the keycard. Of course. Whatever you need. I'm really sorry. The elevator rose 30 floors in silence. When the doors opened, I stepped into Williams's domain. Glass walls. Modern furniture. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Atlanta's glittering skyline. Vanessa's office was next to his, connected by a door that was supposed to be for convenience, but had clearly served other purposes. Where do we start? Maya asked. His office. Everything he thought I'd never see. I pushed open the mahogany door to Williams's corner office, the one that used to be mine until he'd convinced me to take a smaller space to reduce stress. Marcus set up his laptop on Williams's desk. I need to image the hard drive. Pull emails, documents, anything the lawyers will need for the criminal case. You've got access to everything now. I sat in Williams's leather chair. My chair really, the one I'd picked out when we first leased this space 25 years ago. His desk was neat, organized. A photo of us on our wedding day faced outward, positioned so visitors would see it. The performance of a faithful husband. Open the top drawer. Pens, business cards, breath mints. Normal things. Second drawer. Files labeled with investor names, contract drafts, meeting notes. Bottom drawer locked. Maya, hand me that letter opener. My daughter passed me the brass opener, monogrammed with Williams's initials, and I jimmied the lock. Popped open easily. Inside, a velvet box. I opened it, already knowing what I'd find. A diamond ring. Engagement style. Bigger than the one Williams had given me 25 years ago. That's the Singapore ring, Daniel said quietly, looking over my shoulder. I turned it over. An inscription inside the band. V forever starts now. W. He'd planned to marry her. Divorce me, take everything I'd built, and marry Vanessa Reed. I should have been devastated. Instead, I felt nothing but cold clarity. Keep it, I told Daniel. Evidence for the divorce proceedings. Beneath the ring box were letters. Not emails. Actual handwritten letters on expensive cardstock. Williams's handwriting. Love letters to Vanessa spanning 3 years. Darling V, last night was perfect. I hate going home to her. Soon it won't matter. Soon we'll have everything. V, the Singapore deal closes next month. Once it does, I'll have enough leverage to push Shirley out completely. She won't fight it. She never fights. I read that line twice. She never fights. Well, I said softly. I guess he was wrong about that. Maya found more in Vanessa's office. Copies of the forged documents. Email chains with lawyers discussing how to minimize my payout. Calendar entries marking Williams's business trips that coincided with romantic getaways. Marcus copied everything. Terabytes of evidence. Every lie preserved digitally. By 3 a.m., we'd stripped both offices of anything incriminating. The lawyers would get copies. The prosecutors would get copies. And I'd keep copies, just in case Williams tried to rewrite history. We rode the elevator down in exhausted silence. The security guard stood as we passed. Mrs. Thompson, he called. Turn. For what it's worth, you deserved better. Everyone's talking about what happened tonight. What you did. It's all over social media. He pulled out his phone, showed me Twitter trending topics. Hashtag Williams Thompson exposed. Hashtag Thompson Reed fraud. Hashtag Shirley Thompson revenge. Videos from the gala were everywhere. Me at the podium, calm and controlled, destroying Williams with evidence and facts. Maya reading her letter. Vanessa backing away. Williams being escorted out by security. You're kind of a hero, the guard said. I wasn't a hero. I was just a woman who'd refused to disappear quietly. Thank you, I said and meant it. Outside, Atlanta was sleeping. The city lights reflected off low clouds. Halloween was over. November was coming. What now? Maya asked. Now. I looked at my daughter, my ally, my proof that some things are worth fighting for. Now we go home. Get some sleep. Tomorrow we start figuring out what comes next. The company. Maybe. Or maybe I sell my shares and do something completely different. The thought surprised me. 3 months ago, Thompson Reed had been my entire identity. Now it felt like a cage I'd finally escaped. Daniel stood by his car, looking uncertain. Surely, I never thanked you. For including me. For letting me be part of taking them down. You saved me, I said simply. That morning you knocked on my door. You gave me the evidence I needed to fight back. I should be thanking you. We saved each other. He smiled, the first genuine smile I'd seen from him. What will you do now? After everything? I thought about the question. For 3 months, I'd focused on one goal. Destroy Williams Thompson. Prove I wasn't weak. Prove I wasn't forgettable. Prove I could fight. Mission accomplished. But what came after revenge? I don't know, I admitted. Maybe I'll travel. Maybe I'll start something new. Maybe I'll just sit on a beach somewhere and remember what peace feels like. You should, Maya said. God knows you've earned it. I hugged my daughter close. This brave girl who'd stood beside me when it mattered most. We both have. Daniel drove away. Maya and I got in my car. I started the engine but didn't shift into drive immediately. Mom. Maya's voice was soft. Are you okay? Was I okay? My marriage was over. My husband was facing criminal charges. The company I'd built was in chaos. In the morning, my name would be plastered across every news site in Georgia. But I was alive. I was free. And for the first time in years, I wasn't pretending to be smaller than I was. Yeah, I said, pulling out of the parking garage. I think I actually am. We drove through empty Atlanta streets toward home, toward a house that would soon be mine alone, toward a future I'd get to choose for myself. The hard part was over. Now came the beginning. The media circus started at dawn. I woke to my phone vibrating across the nightstand. 53 missed calls. Hundreds of texts. Email inbox at 847 unread. Maya appeared in my doorway holding 2 coffees. Mom, don't look at the news yet. Which meant I absolutely had to look. I opened Twitter first. Hashtag Shirley Thompson was trending nationwide. Videos from the gala had gone viral. 8 million views and counting. News articles with headlines like, Tech CEO exposed in massive fraud scheme, and Wife's epic revenge goes viral. My face was everywhere. The photo of me at the podium in red, holding the microphone, while Williams stood frozen behind me. Oh God, I whispered. It gets worse. Maya handed me her phone. A statement from Thompson Reed's PR team. The board of directors has terminated Williams Thompson and Vanessa Reed effective immediately. Mrs. Shirley Thompson remains a founding partner. We apologize for Mr. Thompson's actions and are cooperating fully with law enforcement. Worse was Williams's lawyer's statement. Mr. Thompson denies all charges and looks forward to clearing his name in court. This is a misunderstanding fueled by marital discord. Marital discord. Like I'd imagined 3 years of hotel receipts and forged signatures. My lawyer called at 7:30. Shirley, don't talk to anyone. No interviews, no social media posts. Williams's team is going to try painting you as vindictive. I am vindictive, I said. Yes, but we don't advertise that. Let the evidence speak. You're the victim here, remember. Victim. The word tasted wrong. I'd stopped being a victim the moment I hired Marcus Chen. By noon, reporters were camped outside my house. Vans with satellite dishes. Cameras pointed at my windows. I closed all the curtains and felt like a prisoner in my own home. Daniel texted. My lawyer says Williams is trying to negotiate. Wants to settle quietly, avoid trial. Thinks you'll accept to stop the publicity. I laughed out loud. After everything, After he'd stolen my company, forged my signatures, tried to erase me. He thought I'd take a quiet settlement. Tell his lawyer to go to hell, I texted back. The preliminary hearing was scheduled for November 15th. 2 weeks away. My lawyer warned me it would be ugly. Williams's team would attack my credibility, my mental state, my motives. Let them, I said. I have 43 pages of evidence and 3 years of lies documented. What do they have? A very expensive legal team and a talent for spinning stories. She looked at me seriously. Shirley, are you prepared for what comes next? The trial will be public. Every detail of your marriage, your finances, your health. It'll all be dissected in court and in the media. I thought about the security guard laughing at me. Williams kissing Vanessa in my kitchen. The hotel receipt from the week I almost died. I'm prepared, I said. November 10th, 5 days before the hearing, Maya came home from college for good. She'd withdrawn for the semester. You didn't have to do that, I said, horrified. Yes, I did. You need someone on your side who isn't a lawyer or investigator. She dropped her bags in the foyer. Besides, I can't concentrate on biology when my father's facing fraud charges and my mother's a viral sensation. I'm not a sensation. Mom, you have fan accounts. Actual fan accounts on Instagram dedicated to Shirley Thompson's revenge era. It's wild. I pulled up Instagram against my better judgment. She was right. Accounts with usernames like @Shirley's Fierce Revenge posting screenshots from the gala with captions like, "This is how you handle betrayal," and "Queen behavior." It was surreal, disturbing, oddly validating. Williams, meanwhile, had disappeared. His lawyer claimed he was staying with family, but Daniel's sources said he was in a midtown apartment Vanessa had been paying for. The affair partners, now stuck with each other and no company to shield them. Vanessa faced her own reckoning. The Georgia Bar Association was investigating her professional conduct. Her law license was under review. Several clients had already fired her, citing ethical concerns. Their perfect lives were crumbling in slow motion, and I watched with cold satisfaction. November 14th, the night before the hearing, I couldn't sleep. I paced my bedroom, rehearsing testimony, anticipating Williams's lawyer's attacks. At 2 a.m. my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Shirley. Williams's voice. Woof. Broken. Please, can we talk? I should have hung up. Instead I said, "You have 30 seconds. I'm sorry. I know that doesn't fix anything, but I need you to know. I never meant to hurt you. Things with Vanessa just happened, and then it got complicated, and I didn't know how to stop. You forged my signature," I said quietly. "You stole from the company. You told the board I had dementia. You planned to marry her while you were still married to me. Which part just happened, Williams?" Silence. "Tomorrow in court, your lawyer will try to destroy me. Call me crazy, vindictive, bitter. But we both know the truth. You didn't make a mistake. You made 1,000 calculated choices over 3 years. And every single one of them was meant to erase me so you could have the life you wanted with her. Shirley, I hope it was worth it. I hope every stolen moment, every lie, every forged signature was worth losing everything." Hung up. Maya stood in my doorway. Was that him? Last-ditch guilt trip. Trying to make me drop the charges. Will you? I looked at my daughter, 17 years old, fierce and loyal, standing in the wreckage of her family with her shoulders back and her chin up. Not a chance in hell. November 15th arrived cold and gray. I dressed in navy blue. Professional, serious, unshakable. Maya wore black. Daniel met us at the courthouse in a charcoal suit. Reporters swarmed. Cameras flashing. Questions shouted from every direction. "Mrs. Thompson, do you regret exposing your husband? Shirley, will you forgive him? Are you after his money?" My lawyer pushed through the crowd, creating a path. Inside the courthouse, the chaos faded to echoing marble and harsh fluorescent lights. Williams was already there with his legal team. 3 lawyers in expensive suits flanking him like armor. He looked smaller somehow, older. His hair needed cutting. His suit, usually impeccable, looked slept in. Our eyes met across the lobby. He looked away first. Victory tasted like nothing at all. The courtroom filled quickly. Press section packed. Public gallery overflowing. This wasn't just a preliminary hearing anymore. It was a spectacle. Judge Catherine Morrison, no relation to Richard, entered. 60-something, steel-gray hair. Expression suggesting she'd seen everything and was impressed by nothing. "This is a preliminary hearing for the charges against Williams-Thompson," she said. "We're here to determine if there's sufficient evidence to proceed to trial. Mr. Thompson, how do you plead?" Williams stood. "Not guilty, Your Honor." His lawyer began the defense. Character witnesses talking about Williams's philanthropy. Business associates praising his ethics. A narrative painting him as a devoted husband driven to poor decisions by his wife's failing health and erratic behavior. Then it was my lawyer's turn. She presented the evidence systematically. Forged signatures with handwriting analysis proving Williams had signed my name. Bank statements showing $2.3 million diverted to offshore accounts. Hotel receipts, emails, text messages. The Singapore ring with its inscription. Maya's testimony about the 23 unanswered phone calls while I was in surgery. Medical records proving I had no cognitive decline, no mental illness, no reason for the retirement Williams had tried to force. By hour 3, Williams's lawyer was sweating. By hour 5, the courtroom had gone silent except for damning evidence piling higher and higher. Judge Morrison reviewed documents, her expression growing darker. Finally she looked up. "I've seen enough. Mr. Thompson, there is overwhelming evidence of fraud, forgery, and embezzlement. This case will proceed to trial. Bail is set at $500,000. You're ordered to surrender your passport and wear a monitoring device. Trial date is set for February 10th. Williams's face crumbled. His lawyers immediately started arguing for lower bail, better terms. I stood up and walked out. Maya and Daniel followed. Outside, reporters swarmed again, but I stopped this time. Faced the cameras. Let them see me standing tall in navy blue, unbroken, unafraid. "Do you have a statement, Mrs. Thompson?" "Yes," I said. "The truth always comes out. Eventually." That night the video went viral. "The truth always comes out. Eventually." 7 words. 14 million views. Williams-Thompson's nightmare had only just begun. And I was finally free. February 10th came too fast and not fast enough. 3 months since the gala. 3 months of depositions, legal motions, media circus. Williams's team tried everything. Character assassination, procedural delays, settlement offers that insulted my intelligence. My lawyer rejected every single one. "He's scared," she told me in January. "His legal bills are crushing him. Vanessa's lawyer bills too. They're burning through savings. Meanwhile, you're sitting on company shares and the moral high ground. He wants this to go away." "Too bad," I said. The trial was held in Fulton County Superior Court. Judge Morrison presiding again, which Williams's team had tried and failed to change. The courthouse steps were packed with protesters, some supporting me, some somehow supporting Williams, most just there for the spectacle. I wore black. Armor disguised as elegance. Maya sat behind me in the gallery, along with Daniel, Marcus Chen, and a dozen friends who'd materialized after the truth came out. People who'd believed Williams's lies about my declining health, and now felt guilty. I didn't need their guilt, but their presence helped. Williams sat at the defense table looking gaunt. 3 months of stress had carved years into his face. Vanessa wasn't in the courtroom. She'd taken a plea deal weeks ago, testifying against Williams in exchange for reduced charges. The affair partners had turned on each other the moment survival instincts kicked in. Poetic, really. The prosecution opened with the Singapore emails. Williams's own words projected on screens. Once we push Shirley out, everything becomes ours. His lawyer objected constantly. Taken out of context, Your Honor. Then provide context, Judge Morrison said dryly. There was no context that made it better. Day 2 brought financial experts. They walked the jury through 3 years of diverted funds, forged signatures, falsified documents. Williams had created a shell company called Reed Holdings and funneled $2.3 million through it. Money that should have gone to company development went to funding his affair. First-class flights for Vanessa, 5-star hotels, designer gifts, a ring worth $47,000. The jury looked disgusted. Day 3 was medical testimony. 3 doctors confirmed I had no cognitive decline. Williams's evidence of my dementia was fabricated medical records with forged doctor signatures. That landed hard. Falsifying medical documents was a separate felony. Day 4 Maya testified. My brave daughter walking to the witness stand in a gray suit, looking older than 17. Tell us about August 2nd, the prosecutor said gently. Maya's voice was steady. My mom had a hysterectomy. There were complications during surgery. I was home from college, waiting at the hospital. The nurses said I should call family because mom wasn't waking up properly from anesthesia. What did you do? I called my dad. 23 times over 4 hours. He finally answered at 10 p.m. Her voice cracked. He said he was in a meeting and couldn't talk. Told me to handle it. I was 17. Where was your father? Miami. With Vanessa Reed. At a hotel. Maya looked directly at Williams. While my mom almost died. He was on vacation with his girlfriend. The courtroom erupted. Judge Morrison called for order, but the damage was done. Williams's lawyer tried damage control on cross-examination. Isn't it true your parents were having marital problems? Yes, Maya said. Because my father was cheating and stealing from my mother. No amount of objections could erase that. Day 5 brought Vanessa's testimony. She'd agreed to testify as part of her plea deal, but you could tell it killed her. She sat in the witness box wearing beige, trying to look harmless, contrite. How long was your affair with Mr. Thompson? The prosecutor asked. 3.5 years. And during that time, did Mr. Thompson discuss his plans for Thompson Reed Industries? Yes. He wanted to remove his wife from ownership. He said she was a liability, that her health was failing. Was her health failing? Vanessa hesitated. No, that was a story we created to justify pushing her out. The jury was leaning forward now. 12 faces, all riveted. Did you participate in creating false documents? Yes. Williams forged Shirley's signature on ownership transfers. I helped by providing legal documentation to make it look legitimate. Williams's lawyer was objecting furiously, but it was too late. His own accomplice was hanging him. Why did you do it? The prosecutor asked. Because I loved him. Because he promised we'd run the company together. Because I believed we deserved it more than she did. Vanessa's voice broke. I was wrong. About all of it. Too little, too late. Day 6 was my turn. I walked to the witness stand feeling 200 eyes on me. Williams's eyes especially. I didn't look at him. Mrs. Thompson, tell us about August 14th, the day you visited your husband's office. I told them everything. The soup I'd made. The guard who laughed. Seeing Williams and Vanessa exit the elevator looking like a couple. The moment I understood my entire marriage was a performance. What did you do after that? I went home. That night I looked at his laptop. Found hotel receipts from the week of my surgery. That's when I knew I couldn't pretend anymore. Why didn't you confront him immediately? Because I needed proof. He'd spent 3 years making everyone believe I was weak, sick, unreliable. If I accused him without evidence, he'd convince everyone I was delusional. So I gathered evidence first. The prosecutor walked me through it all. Hiring Marcus Chen. Finding Daniel Reed. discovering the forged documents, building the case, planning the gala confrontation. Do you regret exposing your husband publicly? I looked at Williams for the first time. He looked back and I saw what I needed to see. Recognition that I'd won. No, I said. He took everything from me in private. He deserved to lose everything in public. Williams's lawyer tried to break me on cross-examination. Isn't it true you're motivated by revenge, not justice? Yes, I said simply. Can't it be both? The courtroom laughed. Judge Morrison didn't stop them. Isn't it true your marriage was struggling before the affair? My marriage was struggling because my husband was having an affair. Cause and effect. More laughter. The lawyer was losing. You orchestrated an elaborate public humiliation. I presented evidence of crimes at a company event. If that's humiliating, perhaps he shouldn't have committed crimes. Judge Morrison actually smiled. Closing arguments came on day 7. The prosecution laid out a clear timeline of fraud, forgery, and betrayal. Williams's lawyer argued about marriage problems and poor judgment, not crimes. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. When they returned, the forewoman stood. We find the defendant guilty on all counts. Fraud, forgery, embezzlement. Williams collapsed in his chair. Sentencing was scheduled for March 1st. Judge Morrison denied bail pending sentencing. Williams Thompson, former tech CEO, was led away in handcuffs. I watched him go and felt nothing but exhausted relief. Outside, reporters swarmed. Maya held my hand on one side, Daniel on the other. Mrs. Thompson, how do you feel? I thought about the question. How did I feel? Free, I said simply. For the first time in years, I feel free. That night, Maya and I ordered pizza and watched rom-coms on the couch. Normal. Simple. Perfect. My phone buzzed. A text from Richard Morrison, the board chairman. The board voted. We'd like you to return as CEO of Thomson Reed. It's always been yours. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed back. Let me think about it. Because maybe I didn't want to return to the company Williams had poisoned. Maybe I wanted something entirely new. Maybe revenge was just the beginning. 6 months later, August 14th again. 1 year exactly since the day I visited Williams's office, and my life exploded into truth. I woke up in a hotel room in Positano, Italy, to sunlight streaming through gauze curtains and the sound of waves against cliffs. Maya was still asleep in the adjoining room. We'd been traveling for 3 months. Rome, Florence, Venice, and now the Amalfi Coast. I padded to the balcony with espresso and watched fishing boats bob in turquoise water. My phone buzzed with messages I'd answer later. Right now I just wanted to breathe. Williams had been sentenced to 8 years in federal prison. He'd serve 5 with good behavior. Vanessa got 3 years in disbarment. Both were ordered to pay restitution. $2.3 million plus damages. I'd never see most of that money. I didn't care. Thomson Reed Industries had restructured completely. The board offered me CEO 3 times. I declined 3 times. Instead, I sold my shares for $18 million and walked away. Daniel bought some. The board bought the rest. I heard they'd renamed it Reed Technologies. Fresh start. Clean slate. I took the money and bought freedom instead. Maya emerged onto the balcony in pajamas, squinting against Mediterranean brightness. Morning, Mom. Sleep okay? Better than okay. I poured her espresso from the carafe. What do you want to do today? Beach. Maybe that restaurant the concierge recommended. Absolutely nothing productive. She grinned. I'm getting good at this vacation thing. She was. We both were. Learning to exist without crisis, without revenge plots, without checking over our shoulders for the next betrayal. It had taken months to unlearn survival mode. After breakfast, we walked down to a private cove the hotel owned. The water was impossible blue. I floated on my back, staring at cloudless sky, and thought about how far I'd come from that woman clutching soup in a parking lot. That woman had been broken, erased, frayed. This woman, floating in Italian seas with her daughter nearby, was whole, visible, unafraid. My phone rang around noon. Daniel. I almost didn't answer. We'd agreed no business during my trip, but something made me pick up. Shirley, sorry to interrupt. I know you're traveling. It's fine. What's up? I wanted you to hear it from me first. Williams is appealing his sentence. His lawyer's claiming new evidence, procedural errors. It'll probably fail, but it means more court dates, more publicity. I waited for the anger, the fear, the exhaustion. It didn't come. Okay, I said. Let me know if you need anything from me. That's it. You're not worried. Daniel, he's in prison. His company's gone. His reputation's destroyed. His daughter won't speak to him. If spending his sentence filing pointless appeals is how he wants to spend his time, that's his choice. I watched Maya build a sandcastle like she was 12 again. I'm done letting Williams Thompson take up space in my head. Silence. Then. Good for you. Seriously. That's growth. How are you? Yes. How's the company? Good. Really good. We landed a major contract with a Japanese firm. Revenue's up 30%. And I'm dating someone. Her name's Patricia. She's a librarian. Very calm, very normal. It's nice. I'm happy for you. What about you? What's next after Italy? I looked out at the endless blue. I don't know. Maybe Greece. Maybe I'll come home and figure out what I want to do with the rest of my life. Maybe I'll write a book. About what happened. Maybe. Or maybe about what happens after. The part nobody talks about. Learning to live after you've won. We said goodbye. I set down the phone and ordered limoncello from the beach attendant. Maya joined me under the umbrella. Was that Daniel? Yeah. Williams is appealing. Are you okay? I'm perfect. And I meant it. That evening, we dressed up for dinner at a cliffside restaurant. I wore white linen. Nothing designer, nothing meant to impress anyone. Just me, comfortable in my own skin. The waiter seated us at a table overlooking the water. Sunset painted everything gold and pink. Mom, Maya said suddenly. I'm proud of you. For everything. For fighting back. For not letting him win. For showing me what strength looks like. My eyes stung. Baby, I'm proud of you too. You didn't have to stand with me. You could have stayed neutral, protected yourself. He hurt you. He abandoned us both. There was no neutrality. She raised her wine glass. To new beginnings. I clinked my glass against hers. To new beginnings. We ate slowly, talked about everything and nothing. She told me about a boy at college. Nice pre-med made her laugh. I told her about a consulting offer I'd received from a women's business group in Atlanta. Are you going to take it? Maybe. Helping other women protect themselves, navigate divorce, rebuild after betrayal. That feels meaningful. But I'm not rushing. For the first time in my life, I have time. After dinner, we walked along the coastal path. Lights from hillside villas twinkled like stars. Couples strolled past, speaking Italian and French and languages I didn't recognize. Do you miss him? Maya asked quietly. Dad, I mean. The way he used to be. I thought about it honestly. I miss who I thought he was. But that person never existed. The real Williams was always the one who could lie to my face and forge my signature. I just didn't want to see it. Do you think you'll ever trust anyone again? Fall in love? I don't know. Right now I'm learning to trust myself. That feels more important. I squeezed her hand. But ask me in a year. Maybe I'll surprise us both. We reached a lookout point. Below, waves crashed against rocks. Above, stars were emerging in darkening sky. I used to think revenge would feel better, I admitted. I thought watching Williams lose everything would fix something inside me. But standing in that courtroom, watching him get sentenced, I just felt tired. Does that mean you regret it? No. He needed to face consequences. What he did was criminal. But the real healing didn't come from his punishment. It came from this. I gestured at the view, at us, at the freedom we'd claimed. From choosing myself. From building a life that's mine, not his. Maya leaned her head on my shoulder. You're kind of wise now, Mom. I'm kind of exhausted, I corrected. But yeah, maybe a little wise too. We walked back to the hotel as night fell completely. In the lobby, tourists laughed over cocktails. A pianist played something soft and Italian. Normal people living normal lives. I was becoming one of them. In my room later, I opened my laptop. Stared at a blank document. Maybe Daniel was right. Maybe there was a book here. I titled it, After the Fall, A Survival Guide. Then I started typing. The day I decided to visit my husband at his office, I was carrying soup and hope. I left with neither, but I gained something infinitely more valuable. The knowledge that I was stronger than my worst day. This is not a story about betrayal, though betrayal is where it starts. This is a story about what comes after, when you're standing in the wreckage of your life and you have to decide, stay buried or build something new. I wrote for 2 hours. Poured out everything. The security guards' laugh, the hotel receipts, Marcus Chen's evidence, the gala, the trial, the sentencing. And then I wrote about Positano. About Limoncello and sunsets and learning to sleep through the night without nightmares. About freedom. At midnight I saved the document and closed the laptop. Tomorrow I'd write more. Or maybe I'd spend the day on the beach doing absolutely nothing. Both options felt perfect. I texted Daniel. Tell Williams's lawyer I'll fight the appeal if needed. But honestly, I hope he spends the next 5 years fixated on me. I'll be too busy living to notice. Then I turned off my phone. Outside my window, Positano glowed with 1,000 lights. Somewhere in Georgia, Williams Thompson sat in a prison cell planning appeals that wouldn't work. Vanessa was probably doing the same. And I was here, free, whole, unbroken. The last thing I thought before falling asleep was this. Some doors close. Better ones open. And sometimes the best revenge is simply refusing to let them destroy you. I survived Williams Thompson. Now I was going to thrive without him. If you're reading this from your own broken place, whether it's betrayal, loss, or just life knocking you down, I want you to know something. You are not alone. You are stronger than you know. And the story doesn't end with someone else's cruelty. It ends with your choice to keep going. Share your story in the comments. Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me what you're surviving. Because we're all writing our own chapters. And yours isn't over yet.